girls. Treaties! Come on, babies. Oh, there's one. There's the other. Hi, girls. Luna, Mignon, come on. Come on. Eat up. They're happy. They're a happy place. Today's a fun day, man. It's prepping for pre-Thanksgiving, which is always my Saturday before Thanksgiving. So we're having a lot of fun. I normally prep all week, so it's a lot of different dishes we make. I make, my plus one makes. What are dishes that we normally do for pre-Thanksgiving? So I do like a debone turkey, the whole thing, debone the whole thing, wrap it up. It's very different. Takes up a lot less space when you're cooking and a lot shorter time, which is great. Oyster bread dressing, Mama's favorite, my Nanny Billy's favorite. I may not do it this year. Maybe not, it just depends. Whipped mashed potatoes, of course, sweet potatoes, yams, always good. But there's a few dishes that I love to do. Dirty rice, crab and shrimp stuffed Mirlitons, and Wagyu beef stuffed bell peppers. Those three really are fun. They're classic Louisiana dishes. Really enjoyable, and I think you'll like seeing these. I normally have not shown videos of these. I've just like little shorts and stuff like that, but this is more fun. We're gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So let's start with the stuffed Mirlitons. So this is a Mirliton. South Louisiana, South US, Southern US, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. It's a Mirliton. Texas, it's called a Chayote squash. So it took me a long time to find these here. I'm like, I'd go someplace and be like, hey, you got any Mirlitons? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, these little things to show them a photo. They're like, that's a Chayote squash. I'm like, no, they're Mirlitons. But no, this is what it is. It's a Chayote squash here in Texas, out to the west, and probably Mexico as well. But here in southern Louisiana places, this is a Mirliton. So this is fun. So what we do is, come on over, let me show you. You gotta boil these like potatoes. So this is one of the benefits of these old antique copper pots I have. And these are about 150 years old. Fabulous stuff, very heavy, 3 to 3.5 millimeters thick. Now these are all tin lined. So you gotta be careful. You can't get the temp too high or you'll get the stuff, like you'll melt it off, but we're fine. Plenty of liquid in here. But what you do is you cut them in half. Here we go. Here's one. And they're hot. You cut them in half and you boil them. So you bring the water up to boil or like a medium high, and then you cook them down like you're doing a baked potato or something. But you got to do them a long time because you really want to get this stuff soft, the inner mash. You don't want it hard and firm when you've got to scrape it down and cook it down, or otherwise it's really kind of funky. It's just not good. But as far as the texture of these, they're very bland. They're almost like a potato, but they're bland. So you're doing heavy salting of the water, almost like a salt water. You really want to get salt in there when you start to peel them, and so you don't have to do a lot of seasoning after the fact. But these have been in here about an hour and a half maybe on medium high. And it takes about 30 minutes to get this water up to temp because you don't want to get it too hot and melt the tin. So you got to take your time. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove these, let them cool down. And then you're going to scrape all the meat out. You put them in a big pot, scrape them all down, drain off that liquid, but save the liquid. You want to save the liquid, but you want to drain it and get as dry as possible. There's still a lot of water that's going to be in the meat itself, but that's okay. So, if you think about South Louisiana dishes, what are some of the basic things? Onions, bell peppers, celery. Onions, bell peppers, celery. That's them. 1, 2, 3. Instead of green, we're using red. So let's chop some. So, if you look at a lot of the recipes for shrimp and crab stuffed Mirlitons, this is considered a single serving. So most of them call for 6 of these, which is a serving of 6. However, since we're doing this for Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving, half of it's going to be enough for somebody because we've got a lot of other components to go with it. So unless someone is really hungry and they want 2 of these, you got to think. So we're cooking for about 30 people. So I get about 15 of these. 15 will cut them in half. And there's more in there. There's probably 8 teams. I like a little bit more meat in mine, internal meat. So just imagine you get 15 of these, cut them in half. It's enough for 30 people unless somebody's really hungry. But those are as side dishes for Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving. If you're sitting by yourself and having dinner, one of these is more than enough with something else. Totally fine. So what goes into these? This. What do we got? Onions, as always. And one thing with these, you want to chop them down pretty, you know, fine is better. Fine is better with these because you don't want to be seeing a big old chunk of onion or celery in here. But you do want to chop them up. You want a nice fine chop. The celery, same thing. You want a nice fine chop on the celery. This isn't like a gumbo or an etouffee where a little bit thicker is okay. A finer chop on everything is preferred. For 6 of these, which would be 12 halves, it calls for a cup of onions. I always use white onions. You want to use yellow? Fine, don't use red. A cup of celery and a half a cup of bell peppers. If you want to use green, feel free. I use red or yellow or the orange because it's stuffed Mirlitons. I don't want green bell peppers in there. Yeah? My sous chef should be coming soon. So just to give you an idea of what we were doing yesterday, we did the pecan pies yesterday. We did 2 big whole cast iron skillet pecan pies. Prepped up for my chicken and sausage gumbo, so I did all the chicken. Got all that done. That takes about an hour, you know. But this I normally have to do about a day or 2 prior. And you have to think also, so for the shrimp and the jumbo lump crab meat that goes in, you don't want to do it too far in advance, because what you don't want to do is have to freeze anything. We've done that. Not happy with those results, okay? You want to do it about a day before. And so today's Thursday, the party's on Saturday. I've got the jumbo lump crab meat already. I get 2 pounds. I got 2 pounds because of the amount of Mirlitons I'm gonna have, which is good. Yep, look at that, good. These are the basics, we're good. Onions, celery, red bell pepper, or yellow. If you wanna use green, go ahead, but red or yellow. Orange, totally cool too. What else? Chopped minced garlic. It calls for a quarter of a cup for 6. So I've got double, I've got 12, so that's 24. So it's like a half a cup of chopped garlic. Chopped basil, 1 tablespoon, double it. So we're doubling everything. Nice, it's good. And believe me, when it comes to the crab meat, if you do more crab meat than you would normally think, it's okay, because I love the crab meat. It's all right. The shrimp is different. Shrimp's a little bit different, so I'm just saying. So this right here would be, this is 4 cups. 4 cups? 4 cups. So it's onion, celery, bell peppers. It's just under 4 cups. So this is a single one for 6. You have to double this, fry it down in a separate pan completely. That's the way to do that to start with. Then you're going to add in this when it's ready. So when it comes to the shrimp, you want to get them, it's fine if you get them peeled and deveined already. It's cool. I get mine with the shells because I can make a shrimp stock. So when I'm done, you should really get the smaller ones, but there's really no small ones ever available. It's like medium or large. So I peel them myself. And what I do is, just to give you an idea, it probably would be better to do this in like a food processor because you can really chunk these up nicely. But since they're somewhat small, and I've learned this through time, you don't want big chunks of the shrimp in the Mirliton. So what I do is I take these and I do them manually myself, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Because it allows me to really chop these up. But you want to do them nice little thin chops in there. Don't worry, you're going to see and taste the shrimp in the Mirliton. It's going to be all right. Yeah? And again, you want to chop these up. Now, it's not like crawfish tails. You really got to take out the veins. You don't have to do that here. It's all right. So the process is simple. You boil the Mirlitons or the Chayote squash. Yeah, do that. You remove them. You spoon them out, and there is a process to spooning them out too. I promise you there is. And then you spoon out the meat, put it on the side, let it drain. Veggies, fry down. After they're done, add in the shrimp, continue to fry down. Season, salt, pepper, cayenne, whatever you like. Then you're gonna add in the Mirliton meat, Chayote squash meat. Blend it nicely. And when it's completely done and everything is finished, you add in the jumbo lump crab meat and you fold it all in. And then you add in some breadcrumbs if you need to kind of thicken it up. And then you stuff the Mirlitons. Hi, Miss Luna. Meow, meow, meow. They're like, Dad, where's our food? Thank you, Mr. Jim, for doing a proper tinning on my vintage pot from the 12th century. It's great, thank you. So this is also one that Jim did from East Coast Tinning. Got it back also, I haven't used it yet. I used to keep my spices in here, but I would use it sometimes, and you can tell when you've got to get something retinned. So we want to remove these. Come on, let's get these out. Let's get them out, little by little. And they are hot to the touch, the water's still warm, so it's gonna take a little while for these to cool down. You can see the seeds right here. So these are the seeds in the middle. I'm going to show you how to get the Mirlitons prepped up. You get these little thin spoons. They're perfect. So what you want to do is just do some nice, easy scraping. You don't want to lose any of the meat. So there you go. Pull that out, and then here. This gives you a lot of control, guys. You can really get down to the bottom. If you use a different spoon, it's different. You sometimes can take stuff up, but this is really nice. It allows you to really get down in there. But you do want to leave some meat. You do. Trust me, there's going to be a lot. See, you can get, really close. Got to be careful. But you want to get the seed out in that little liner. You want to get that lining out. Nice big goops. But this is what you want to get. Good. Nice shell. That's what you want. Just like that. Still nice and firm on there. There's still some meat in there. Now these shells, you don't want to really eat these. You could. Depends. But whereas the bell peppers you can eat. The shells here, you're like, got them all. And this is how they're supposed to look, you know, just generally like this. There's still some meat in there, which is good, but you really can't eat these once they cook up. But the outer shell skin is nice and firm still. That's what you want. All the stuffing go in here. Here's all the stuffing, all the meat right here. Oh, there's a piece we don't want in there. Put it on the side. And watch, come on over. We're gonna. It's got a lot of liquid, so we're gonna save the liquid. I'm just gonna pour it into the strainer. There we are. We want to save that. Now what we want to do is break this up a bit. Get all the liquid out, because the last thing you want to do is to have to deal with too much liquid and trying to cook it down. So it's best to get as much out now as you can. So you can see we got a lot of good of the juice in there still. We're going to save that juice. We're going to use it later on. But for now, what we're going to do is cook the veggies down. This recipe calls for a 1/4 stick, so there's double, so we're using double on this one. Just going to cook it down. Get it high. I want to cook this butter down. What we're going to put in there is this is a single. So 1 cup of onions, 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of the bell peppers. This will go in here. I'm going to double it up, so I'm going to add another one real quick. Perfect. And this is a double, remember. So I've still got to add the garlic, and I've got to add in the basil. And this will take about 10 minutes, guys, to get. You want it soft. You don't want it hard, but you don't want to have any hard stuff in the stuffing. So let's go ahead and add in the Mirliton meat. There we go. Come on. There we are. Good. And that's exactly how it's supposed to look, guys. This is going to take a little while because you want to blend it up. Now you do want to add some salt, but remember, your shrimp is seasoned. I mean, it's got salt in it, so you want to be careful. You want to taste this as you go, and this is going to take a little while, but you want it so it's all broken up completely. And again, we've not added any seasoning yet. We're going to, but not yet. So there we are, got it all chopped up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of liquid, a little bit. There we are. So I sort of did it out of order. I was supposed to do the shrimp after the vegetables were done, then add in the Mirliton meat, but that's all right. Get some salt. Not a lot. Need some pepper too. Green, which I love. The red. See, some liquid was coming out of it, so cook it down a little bit more, and we're gonna taste it again. At this point is when you would normally add your salt and pepper and seasonings and spices, but I added a little bit early. That's all right. So stuffing is where it needs to be. We've not added that in yet. You got to be careful too. You don't want to use back fin. You want to use jumbo lump crab meat. However, if it's too pricey and you don't want to use it, just get the regular blue crab meat. But I like to use the big stuff. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is a double, so 2 pounds. And you want to be careful when you fold it in. You don't want to shred it apart. However, stuff does happen. It does. So what we want to do is just, whoop, come on, come on. You're going to add some breadcrumbs to this as well. This actually turns into a very expensive dish because of the blue crab meat. So the crab meat. If you don't want to use the crab meat, you don't have to. But this is blue crab and shrimp stuffed Mirlitons. So guess what? We use blue crab meat. You can't use fish. Sorry, can't do that. See, I can hear it's a little juicy. It's like a little bit more liquid than we would want. So that's why we have breadcrumbs. All right, so Italian breadcrumbs. You want to soak up as much of the juice as you can. And this is a double, remember, so you really want to get it in there. You want the breadcrumbs to soak up a lot of that juice, guys. You're not going to lose any flavor because you've added the breadcrumbs. Gives a nice component to it, really does. Keeps it nice and thick together. There you go. Mirlitons, Chayote squash. I like to get mine a little more bulky. That's just me. Look, there you go. That's a crab and shrimp stuffed Mirliton. Get a whole bunch in here. Fabulous stuff. And what you do is you put the oven on 375. All right, so 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. And when it's in, you sprinkle breadcrumbs across the top, and you add a pat of butter for every one. Just slide it in. Perfect. So when you do your bell peppers, it's 350 for 30 minutes. These are like 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. And just fabulous. We'll have some photos soon. But there you go, guys. Crab meat and shrimp stuffed Mirlitons. Enjoy. I always find that I do these dishes. We do these dishes. You got to include the sous chef in there. She's important. She's important to the process. These are fun dishes to make. I grew up with these. My Gigi made these, which is my great-grandmother, and my mother made them. Not a lot of my friends' families made these, but you can get these in some of the restaurants. You can. Depends on the time of the year. But for the crab and shrimp stuffed Mirlitons, it's a process. I mean, basically you're boiling the Chayote squash or Mirlitons about an hour, hour and a half, getting the water to temp about 30 minutes. Then you got to spoon all the meat out, and you got to sear down all the vegetables, and you got to do all the Mirliton meat as well. And then You add your seasoning, your shrimp, and then you add your blue crab, and then stuff them. It just turns out to be a fabulous dish, and you should all try to do it at some point. If you've never done it, it's an easy process, I think. It's just multi-step process. There's some things you need for each of the dishes, and I hope you enjoy. And happy Halloween? No, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. These holidays get too close together.